Guys, I was definitely not expecting Argentina to lose against Saudi Arabia 2-1, like at all. Like we all knew that Argentina were going to be like one of the best teams in this World Cup tournament, but to see this game play out in this way, in this fashion, now things are getting very, very serious. Argentina's going to have to win against Mexico. Argentina's going to have to win against Poland because to lose against Saudi Arabia 2-1, that was so disappointing in the eyes of many Messi fans and within the eyes of many Argentina fans. This is probably the biggest surprise we have had so far in this World Cup. Yes, we have seen other like very surprising moments, but this game here, this whole full 90 minutes was the biggest surprise so far, and I do believe that this will probably go down as the biggest surprise for Argentina and for this World Cup in general. And let me tell you guys, we were so confident that Argentina were going to be winning in this game. Like you come in with 36 games unbeaten, and then for you to lose 2-1 against Saudi Arabia, it was a big surprise. And I have a lot of respect for this team, for Saudi Arabia, for what they did. And you look at all of the fans that we saw around the world, all these Saudi Arabian fans, they were going crazy. Like they were running everywhere, they were screaming, they were hugging each other, they were so passionate, they couldn't even believe it. They were like, is this real? Like, did we actually beat a team that was 36 games unbeaten with Lionel Messi included within this squad? Now, Argentina did not play bad. This is not the whole point of this video. Like, I'm not here to say that Argentina plays so bad, that they're going to have a bad run, Saudi Arabia is going to go into first place, Argentina is one of the worst teams in the World Cup. I'm not here to like talk about that because I think that Argentina played well. As a matter of fact, it's just that Saudi Arabia played excellent. They played the perfect match. They were prepared from the top to the bottom, and especially with the head coach. I also want to give my respects towards the head coach. I don't know his name. I think his name is something like Hervé Renard. He is from France, but I don't really know this coach. But the fact that he did something like this, the fact that he was able to really study Argentina in this way and beat them, I have a lot of respect for you, dude. Like, congratulations. So Saudi Arabia played so good that I think that many clubs are going to be eyeing a couple of these people within this team, like the coach. They're probably going to want to recruit him maybe later down the line in about 6, 7, 8 months. Maybe we could see this coach in Europe very soon, and maybe coach in the Premier League, maybe coach in the French league, who knows. And then when it comes to the goalkeeper, I believe his name is Owais, something like that, right? That is the goalkeeper of Saudi Arabia. Man, what a game from this goalkeeper. He was so on point with all of the shots that were going against him from Argentina. He blocked so many shots. He was able to save so many shots. It was amazing. I'm a big fan of what like Saudi Arabia did because I love to see like Goliath versus David, which is like a very famous story that many of us do know, because when this game did start, Saudi Arabia was David and Goliath was Argentina, and Saudi Arabia did win. Another player that clubs could be eyeing is going to be Al Dawsari. I think that is his name. Sorry that I'm not pronouncing these names correctly. It's just that I really want to get these names out there because I'm a huge fan of what they did on the pitch. They're very smart players, very technical players. They did what they had to do. They were very disciplined. And so with this defeat that we are seeing today with Argentina, right? Again, like these two games that we're going to see with Argentina when they face Poland and they face Mexico, they're mandatory wins. On paper, Saudi Arabia were the easiest team to beat before this game even started. But now looking at all of these teams, seeing how Mexico did tie against Poland 0-0, it was a very intense game even though it did end 0-0. I think that right now Argentina did face the toughest team in this group, which is Saudi Arabia, which did end 2-1. Mexico and Poland do not look that great. I'm a big fan of Mexico. I'm a big fan of Poland with Lewandowski, but they do not look as good and as sharp as someone like Saudi Arabia. And I don't know if you guys have seen Poland versus Mexico, but like Mexico and Poland, they were going everywhere. Like they were so spread out. The team was like everywhere on the pitch. There was no like closed areas. Poland was attacking in 5 minutes, and then Mexico was attacking in 5 minutes. Like it was always back and forth, very open match. Either team could have easily won, and I don't see these two teams like being very dominant against Argentina. Like they just don't have the capability, because we both saw Poland and Mexico see like so many chances on the pitch. Like there was not a single time in this game where they were very closed and they were able to be very disciplined. Like the goalkeepers were like the stars within these matches, especially with Ochoa. So to me, in my opinion, when Argentina faces these two teams, and especially with Mexico this coming Saturday, it is a golden opportunity for Argentina, for DePaul, for Scaloni to gain gain the 3 points, 3 points that they really need, because anything less than a win is going to be over for Argentina. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine Argentina leaving in the group stages after many of us have projected that Argentina were going to win the World Cup? How that would be crazy to see just how football really does work in the real world. So I want to talk about three things, because I was watching the game. I'm like, okay, why is Saudi Arabia winning? Why is Argentina losing? What are the things that Saudi Arabia did on the pitch that allowed Argentina to see that defeat and not gain a single point? Point number one, it was the offside trap. Argentina had like 10 offside traps in this game. They caught themselves offside like 10 times. Can you believe that? Lautaro Martinez could have easily scored 2 goals, but they were both disallowed because Saudi Arabia did produce that offside trap that led towards Lautaro Martinez being offside. Right, just to make things very like simple for you guys. If you guys do not know what offside trap is, it's basically like a defensive line that moves forward very fast in order for one of the strikers to be offside before the pass even gets to that striker. That is why Lautaro Martinez was seen offside 2 times when he did score those 2 goals. Saudi Arabia were very committed, also very attentive. Saudi Arabia knew that the passes were going to be coming in through the middle, which is why they had to produce that offside trap. And they were probably practicing this multiple times before they go up against Argentina. They probably did this for the past 2 weeks. Point number 2 on what they did. Saudi Arabia knew that they had to put Argentina out wide, like onto the wings, because they were going to congest the midfield and they wanted to invite Argentina to go out in the wings, with Di Maria having the ball and having Alejandro Gomez with the ball also. And what that basically meant was Saudi Arabia saying, okay, look, we're going to put you guys out wide. We're not going to allow you guys to do anything in the midfield. We're going to force you guys, Di Maria and Alejandro Gomez, to receive the ball in order for us to go on a man mark type of battle, right? That is what Saudi Arabia did. They went on a 1v1 with Di Maria and Alejandro Gomez and many of the other wingers that were going on the wings for Argentina, and they always won the battle. They wanted to do that. That was basically the whole game plan. So it was not a type of game where Saudi Arabia were like, okay, we're just gonna wait in our zones, wait for Di Maria and Alejandro Gomez to come up to us in our area in order for us to defend. They did not even do that. They went up to Di Maria and to Alejandro Gomez, and they were very attentive. They were always behind those players, always in front of those players, and so it was a great master plan. We look at these graphs here and we can see that Argentina were wide. You look at number 26, number 3, number 11, number 17. They were trying to produce something on the wings, but Saudi Arabia did not allow that from Argentina. Again, they forced Argentina out wide. Saudi Arabia were congesting the midfield. That again forced Argentina to go on the wings. And they invited the 1v1. These pictures here that you do see really does explain to you a lot on what they were trying to do. So it was a brilliant decision coming from the coach and from the players. Saudi Arabia had to be very disciplined within these full 90 minutes in order for this to work, because even if they were like 90% focused, Argentina could have probably go through these defenders, but no, Saudi Arabia were 110% focused, not allowing any player to get through them. And that is what's going to lead us towards the last point, which is going to be point number 3, and that is Saudi Arabia putting out a mid block on the pitch. That was basically like the full game plan from Saudi Arabia. This basically puts everything together into one thing. Paredes, De Paul, Lionel Messi had a very hard time trying to do something through the middle because of what we did explain before. They had multiple players in the middle of the pitch and producing a high mid block. Because the coach was like, okay, look, we see these players, look at these midfielders, look how Paredes and De Paul in the past 10 games, they like to make through passes through the middle for Lautaro Martinez to receive. Let's congest the midfield in order for them not to do anything. And again, this is where everything does come into a full circle, like I did explain. If a ball does end up going through the middle and Saudi Arabia are unsuccessful, even after trying to congest the midfield and blocking Paredes and blocking De Paul, once that through ball is executed, that is when they do the offside trap. That is when they try to either do the offside trap or they do they try to block the lanes, the passing lanes coming from Lionel Messi or De Paul or Paredes. It was brilliant work from the coach. They were always ready, no matter what happened. Whether option 1 failed, they go for option 2. If option 2 failed, they go for option 3. And that is it, right? Like, I don't think that it is over for Argentina. They have to win the next 2 games, and that is very doable. If they do end up winning the next 2 games, which is going to be Mexico and Poland, they're either going to be in first or second place. And let me tell you guys, if Argentina ends up in second place, that's going to change everything. And it's also going to be depending on what Saudi Arabia does. If Saudi Arabia loses their next 2 games and Argentina wins their next 2 games, Argentina could go into first place. But if Saudi Arabia does win their next 2 games and Argentina does also win their next 2 games, Argentina most likely will be going into second place, and that would change everything, like I did say. That would put Argentina on the other side of the whole bracket, meaning that in the round of 16, they might face France. If France does end up in first place, we'll see what France does, because France are going to be playing in about 20 minutes. So it's going to be so interesting to see how all of this does play out. It's crazy how football works. I always thought that Argentina were going to be in first place, but if they end up in second, most likely they're going to be placed on the other side of this bracket, face France, face probably Brazil, face probably Spain, and just a bunch of other teams, maybe even England. So that will be wrapping up today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.